Elizabeth Holmes dropped out of Stanford University at 19 years old with a single pitch to investors. She was going to revolutionize healthcare. The pitch centered on a sleek black box capable of running hundreds of complex medical diagnostics, testing for everything from cholesterol levels to complex genetic markers, all from a single painless pinprick of blood. In the digital world, launching unfinished products is standard practice. You ship the code, gather user data, and fix the errors later. But applying that exact same fake it till you make it philosophy to human biology carries entirely different stakes. When a software engineer writes a bug, an app crashes or a web page fails to load. When a medical device manufacturer ships a buggy blood test, a real patient might receive a false cancer diagnosis or miss the warning signs of a fatal disease. Despite those stakes, Theranos raised over $700 million. The company assembled a board of directors filled with political heavyweights and military generals, people like former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger. Yet this high-profile board lacked anyone with actual medical or scientific expertise to verify the math. That combination of extreme corporate secrecy and powerful unquestioning enablers created a total vacuum of technical due diligence. A medical device valued at $9 billion was operating on the public without ever being subjected to independent scientific peer review. The origin of this device dates back to 2003 at Stanford. Holmes filed an incredibly broad patent for what she called a theranostic patch. This initial wearable concept would draw a patient's blood, process the diagnostic data in real time, and automatically inject a calculated dose of medication. But this closed-loop system was entirely unworkable, so they scrapped the automated drug delivery entirely. This led to their first major pivot. They abandoned the patch and focused solely on diagnostics, chasing a concept known as microfluidics. Microfluidics is the science of precisely controlling tiny amounts of fluid through networks of microscopic pipes and channels. But manipulating physical fluids at a microscopic scale is incredibly difficult. Human blood coagulates, fragile cells rupture, and tiny pipes clog. You cannot force physical atoms to behave the way you force digital bits to compile. After 3 years of these microfluidic channels failing, investor patience was wearing thin. In 2007, Theranos pivoted again, this time abandoning microfluidics for a prototype they called the Edison 1.0. The internal hardware of the Edison was actually based around a repurposed commercial robot, originally designed to automatically dispense adhesive glue in manufacturing lines. This modified gluebot struggled to yield accurate results and was severely limited in scope. It could only run immunoassays, a specific class of tests that rely on antibodies to detect target molecules, meaning it couldn't perform the vast majority of the tests Theranos was advertising. To cover this massive capability gap and fulfill rollout contracts with partners like Walgreens, Theranos resorted to secretly purchasing standard commercial blood analyzers made by competitors like Siemens to process patient samples. Because Theranos promised the public a pinprick of blood, they didn't have enough volume to run through these large Siemens machines. To make the tiny drops fit, they secretly diluted the blood with water and saline. This massive dilution dropped the concentration of target molecules well below the readable sensitivity range of the commercial instruments, ensuring the results would be highly erratic. Theranos was no longer inventing medical technology. They had built a black box facade to hide a heavily compromised, highly inaccurate method of running standard lab equipment. The deception began to unravel when young scientists inside the company's heavily siloed labs, including Erica Chung and Tyler Schultz, started noticing severe discrepancies in the quality assurance data. This scatter plot represents the company's quality control tests, showing a high failure rate. To hide this, management employed a method called repeat and delete. They highlighted massive, dangerous outlier data points and erased them from the record to fake a clean trend line. When these scientists flagged the deleted data and failing machines, management belittled them. Soon after, the whistleblowers faced aggressive surveillance and threats of ruinous lawsuits from the company's intellectual property lawyers. Despite the intimidation, the whistleblowers alerted journalists and federal regulators. A surprise inspection by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the federal agency that oversees clinical labs, found unqualified staff, blood stored at incorrect temperatures, and voided nearly 1 million tests. The $9 billion valuation completely evaporated. Theranos was dissolved, and both Elizabeth Holmes and Chief Operating Officer Sunny Balwani were convicted of fraud, each receiving federal prison sentences exceeding 10 years. The damage extended beyond lost venture capital. The fraud actively chilled investment in genuine medical innovation, proving exactly how dangerous it is when the reckless iteration of software development is forced upon the fragile reality of human health.